US President Donald Trump has acknowledged there will be transition difficulties in a rare concession about his new tariff regime. But the backdown from the most crippling import taxes on dozens of countries has failed to impress Wall Street, despite some ground being regained by global stocks.
Be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Mr. Trump was speaking during a meeting of his cabinet at the White House. He's paused steep charges on about 60 nations for 3 months and is instead applying a baseline duty of 10% on all imports apart from China. Chinese products entering the US will now be levied even higher than previously announced at 145%.
We're resetting the table, and I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well. I have great respect for President Xi. He's been, in a true sense, he's been a friend of mine for a long period of time, and I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries.
After rallying in their previous session, much of Wall Street's gains were wiped overnight. Investors remain concerned about the economic impact of the tariff policy as countries try to negotiate a better deal.
We would far from say that uncertainty is over. We may have a brief pause for now with this 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs, but it's still not clear what the end game is for Mr. Trump in terms of tariffs and how countries will negotiate. I think uncertainty is definitely here to stay, at least for the time being.
China is refusing to back down and is hitting back by restricting imports of Hollywood films, one of the most high-profile US exports. Beijing accuses the US of bullying and blackmail. It's also applied an 84% tariff rate on the US goods, putting the world's two largest economies at odds. Chinese exporters say the high US levies will make it harder for them to operate.
We are definitely worried that it will be harder and harder to do business. Our clients will have no profit to make, and neither will we. We are all in the business to make money, but if nobody makes money, the purpose of win-win cooperation will no longer exist, right?
US consumers can also expect to pay more under the new tariff regime. Ultimately, Donald Trump wants companies to make products on home soil. But ramping up production will push up costs. It's estimated manufacturing a top-selling smartphone in the US instead of China or India could take a $1,000 handset to more than $3,000 retail. On a smaller scale, small business owners who import a large amount of products, such as toys, fear they'll be unable to survive.
That's a great idea to be able to make things over here, but you got to remember the entire toy infrastructure is in China and Asia. And you can't just turn around and make a plastic fabrication machine. The machinery doesn't exist. The pipeline of people that know how to do those things don't exist. So it's not something you could turn around in a month or two. I mean, it's a multi-year process.